Carmen families. My name is Jennifer Lopez, and I'm the CEO of Carmen Schools of Science and Technology. I hope that this finds you all well and healthy. I am excited to share that on March 1st, we successfully launched our phase 2 of in-person learning. We welcomed a group of students back into our buildings. I would immediately say it's been the highlight of my year to see students in person, to see our families dropping off our children or picking them up, and seeing our staff together after almost a year ago today, where we had to make the very difficult decision of physically closing down our buildings. I will be providing today an update for our next phase 3 of reopening, where we invite additional students back into our buildings. I know, being a mom, how difficult it's been to navigate this new reality with our children at home. Thank you for taking on the additional responsibilities to make this year possible for your children. At Carmen, we remain committed to the promise when you enrolled your child with us to ensure that they are prepared for success in college, in gaining family-sustaining careers, community involvement, and family life. I know that when we launched the school year in September, we were seeing some positivity rates of upwards of 40%. And in good faith and good conscience, we could not bring our students back into our buildings. There was very limited data in terms of school transmissions. We also had heard from national experts that we should be at a 5% positivity rate and below. We were nowhere near that when we launched the school year. We've continued to take a look at the data. We've been able to keep in touch with and stay connected to schools locally and across the country that have been able to open since the fall or just even a few weeks ago. We've been able to learn from them directly in terms of how to open safely. We've also heard from the CDC directly that schools can, in fact, open safely, as long as there's precautions in place and layers of protection. At Carmen, we call them the 6 layers of protection to ensure that we are able to fulfill on the promise that we've made you all, made our staff, and our entire Carmen community of prioritizing safety. We also know that we've heard from you all in our last survey that 67%, 2/3 of y'all, are reporting that in-person learning is much more beneficial than distance learning. We also learned that 67% of you all, 2/3, prefer in-person learning and actually would send their children back if and when this became an option. We also know that when we launched our phase 2 of in-person learning on March 1st, we weren't able to accommodate a number of your families, a number of our students. We also know that nothing can replace in-person learning. We know that students learn better in person. You all have reported this, our staff have reported this, and our students have reported this. We know that our students are missing the socializing aspects of school. They're missing the social emotional development. We know that instruction and student level support, academically and emotionally, it's much better in person. And like I said, nothing can replace in-person learning. So therefore, we're excited to share that this next phase of in-person learning, we are extending this to all of our Carmen community. So families who are interested in bringing their children back into buildings, this will be an option. But families, if you decide that you want to continue with distance learning, that too will still continue to be an option for you as well. Please know that you will get a video tomorrow from my operations team that will be able to share all the different safety video that shares all the precautions that we put in place to ensure the safety of our Carmen community. Many of you might be asking, what makes Carmen so confident that we can do this safely? As I mentioned, we've been able to keep close tabs with schools that reopened locally and across the country. We've been able to learn from them and learn their best practices. We know that you all, our kids, want a safe in-person learning option. At this point, since March 1st, I believe approximately 84% of our staff have already received their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Our reopening plan, our safety plan, was approved by the Milwaukee Health Department. And as of March 7th, the city of Milwaukee had a 2.5% positivity rate. Again, we've learned that we've gathered a lot of data. We've heard from our health experts. We've learned this for the last 11, almost 12 months now, that schools can in fact reopen safely with strict safety protocols in place. We're excited to welcome students back into our buildings in this hybrid model. On April 15th, it's a Thursday, right after spring break, we welcome our elementary and our middle school students back into our building. On April 19th, it's a Monday, we welcome all of our high school students back into our buildings. Again, families will have the option to continue with distance learning or opt in to in-person learning. These are important dates for you to note. On March 11th, so tomorrow, you'll receive a safety video that talks through their protocols, and you'll also hear more about our learning model. You'll also receive a survey where you can opt into in-person learning or elect to remain in distance learning. If you have questions about the in-person model, we have family conferences, parent-teacher conferences that are taking place. We welcome you to ask questions directly of your advisor, of your teacher, of your school principal. Reach out to the school directly with any questions you may have. We do have a deadline, however, of March 19th to have families go ahead and opt in to in-person learning. Families thereafter, we won't have, unfortunately, given the fact that it's only 8 weeks of instruction between when we reopen for phase 3 until the end of the academic school year, you won't have another option to elect to in-person learning. So we welcome your questions, we welcome those concerns, but know that we have a deadline of March 19th in order to plan accordingly for the remainder of the school year. Again, you'll have the ability to opt into in-person learning or remain in distance learning. That last week of March, leading up to spring break, families, you'll receive your student's schedule, your child's schedule for the remainder of the school year. I imagine you're probably wondering, what will this learning look like? Just know you'll receive more further information tomorrow. I'll just hit on a kind of some big picture items. And all in-person students who come back into buildings will be taught live by their teachers. The day will include academic content and social emotional learning. In-person students will attend school at least 2 days a week. Students who began in person since March 1st, they will be prioritized for at least 4 days a week instruction. Again, more information will come tomorrow. We ask that you not complete that survey until you've had an opportunity to watch those videos, the safety videos and the learning model video. That deadline to submit the survey to opt in or remain distance learning is due on March 19th. We know that we've taken an abundance amount of caution over the past year to ensure the safety of you all, the safety of our staff, the safety of our students. We have and will continue to follow what data and health experts continue to tell us. We have had to prioritize and re-strategize and pivot to serve our students and our families. And we have and will continue to evolve our approach towards an eventual in-person learning, hopefully, likely in the fall of 21-22 school year. I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to reach out to us if you have any questions. Listed here is our school's contact information for you to ask for additional support or questions you may have. On the right-hand column, you will see also when conferences are taking place at the various different campuses that your child may attend. Again, tomorrow you'll receive additional communication with the learning model and the survey to opt into in-person or to remain virtual. We also will receive a video with the safety protocol, so you can learn a little bit more in terms of what we've done to our buildings to prepare them for having more students back into our buildings. Again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for bearing with us as we continue to navigate an incredibly challenging year. Again, we remain committed to you all. So please reach out with any questions you may have for us. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day. Take care.